Welcome to Rhinos and Aliens.
Yeah, we can screw that.
Yeah. Get it poppin'.
What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Rhinos and Aliens, episode 133. It is me, the Don Dada of all Dons. Hello. Today we have a special guest. What's your name, Miss Young Lady?
Taniqua Simmons.
Yeah. Guys, remember that name. Remember it. And you already know who's in the background.
Welcome.
You already know my main man, Conscience, the all-knowing being. Also, just wanted, before we start everything, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. You know, everything that you're supposed to do. And we are the number one podcast and crew in Western New York. You already know what time we on. We manifest into greatness. Straight like that.
Amen.
Straight like that. But before we get started, how's everybody's week going? What's going on, everybody?
So far, so good.
That's good.
Donyhal.
I mean, you know, big vibes, chill, you know, staying out the way, but doing the best I can at the same time.
Beautiful. Donyhal, this is technically a political candidate.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Taniqua Simmons is the mother of best friends from high school, Javon McNabb.
For real? I never knew.
Yeah.
You know Javon?
Yeah. Played basketball against him.
Specifically Shoshone, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you really got to know him. When we were on the west side at Black Rock, they went to Shoshone.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. Because he used to go to Bennett, so Bennett's right next to Shoshone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Know the whole crew.
Yeah, used to live over on East of Hugh.
Know the whole crew.
So, for the audience members, she is a proud, as she would say herself, a proud black woman / mother who is just sick of people of all races taking advantage of the poor just to boost themselves into the rich categories.
For right now, I don't have anything that comes straight to mind, but I really want to ask you what made you go towards being, like, going into politics and all that? Like, what led you to it?
Well, first, I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
So, with that being said, Aquarians like to know. We like to know things. We like to think about things. We're always
very curious.
Very curious about life. So, when I was younger, I grew up on Bissell.
Okay. I was there, too.
And it was a wonderful neighborhood. I went to Montessori, and then I went to City Honors. And I thought my neighborhood was, like, great. And then I found out that I lived in the ghetto.
Yeah.
And at some point in time, my friends started dying. And I just didn't understand, like, why was that a problem that only I was dealing with? Because going to City Honors, a majority of my peers, they were white. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they lived off Elmwood. They lived in North Buffalo. And they didn't have the same issues in their neighborhoods. They were like, oh, you live on Bissell? Do people die every day? You know, type thing. So that's kind of how I got into the politics of life at a very young age. Just want to know.
Since you said that, I do want to point out, whenever anybody says they're not into politics or political talk, we should always correct individuals like that because life itself is political.
Yes.
Yeah. As I've grown up, I've noticed that everything is political. There is not one aspect of life that isn't legislated in some aspect.
Because the purest sense of the word politics is conversing to get to an understanding or a compromise. And when you think about it, that's relationships of humanity.
Right. You know, Aquarians are humanitarians. I have to put that out there.
That's a good way to fit that in there.
Yeah, that was smooth.
Right.
Like she low-key always had that in her mind, and
she was waiting for that statement. That's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
Dozens of new affordable homes are available in Buffalo's Maston Park neighborhood now. The Jefferson Avenue apartments, which bring 90 quote-unquote affordable apartments and more than 6,000 square feet of commercial space to the area. Specifically, $31 million was invested into these apartments, $19 million coming from the state.
Before you say, my thing is, Why is all these being built and they're moving people in, but they're not fully done?
Oh, well, oh, great. Let me chime in. Well, what they're doing is they're just pimping poverty. As they gentrify the residential neighborhoods, they're hurting people. And unfortunately, specifically, a lot of the affordable housing is going on remediated, toxic soil. And they aren't educating the tenants as to the risk the cancer risk involved in living on remediated sites, because there aren't any safe levels of pollutants. So what they do is they remediate to a point where they reduce your risk. But they're reducing your risk. Someone who's not here, who doesn't live here, is having a conversation about how much risk is okay for the people to live there, and then they're not educating people about the risk. The other thing is they're using cheap material. They are not hiring the community around these developments, and that's a part of economic development. And when you have all this economic development taking place in communities where there's high unemployment, there's high poverty, high crime, these jobs that are supposed to come here are supposed to kind of help alleviate the poverty, make people more self-sufficient. You have these homes that are coming in on toxic soil, they're using cheap material, and then they have all these guidelines and requirements for people to live there. Like, in your credit, they want your credit, they want to run your credit, they want to run your criminal, they want your DNA, they want your firstborn, they want a hair sample, a urine sample, so that you can continue to live in a community that you lived in before they found it desirable.
Yeah, right.
Not only that, to what she just explained is the state, the government wanting to know every aspect of your life. Because even though you don't know it, what comes with quote-unquote cheaper things means you're giving away more freedoms. So if you want an apartment that normally would cost $800, but you're getting it for $400, and you just think you won the lottery, oh, I got a $400 apartment for the next 5 years. No, you're paying less because you're giving more of your freedom to the government.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That's another reason why whenever the government gives anything free, like this vaccine, or as Taniqua at some point this past week was talking about the
Tuskegee experiment.
Yes. Whenever the government gives anything free, the people should always be cautious. Going back to a movie in the Kingsman, the original Kingsman, when a rich person is giving something away for free, you need to watch out. There's a reason why something is being given for free. Nothing in life is free.
Hey, I always question it. I'm not gonna lie, unless it's food, and then I'll.
Oh no, you gotta question that too.
I do, but I'm a fat kid at heart, so I'm like, what's in here? I'm a question like, what's in here? It still look good, but.
And going back to the original aspect, everything you said, 100% spot on. But we didn't even question the biggest thing. Why does it cost $31 million to make these apartments? Where is the money truly going? Because she emphasized the material. I can guarantee you that the material used for the price they paid, the material should be at least twice the quality that it will end up being. Mm-hmm. If the cost of living has slowly increased due to inflation, and all these CEOs and founders of these companies are making 2 to as much as tenfold what they used to make 20 years ago, how is it that our pay has barely increased according to inflation?
The corporations, because they lobby. See, the people don't pay for the campaigns. The corporations do. That's why we have a minimum wage and not a maximum wage. And if you watch Undercover Boss, you have all of these CEOs that are getting paid like $5,000 a second, and you take them down to the front line, and they are clueless. They don't know anything. You have CEOs that don't know anything about the business. And you put them, where they pay all the frontline workers bring in all the money.
Right.
They don't even know anything about that. They're like, oh my God. And, on Undercover Boss, they're always like in tears, like, oh my God, I didn't know they worked this hard. I'm going to give them a 50-cent raise. It's absolutely disgusting, but that's because we don't know enough about politics. There's supposed to be this system of checks and balances, but you have lobbyists and nobody understands corporate sponsorship unless we talking, NASCAR. Outside of that, we don't. Or
sports, literally.
Or
sports in general, yeah.
And they don't understand corporate sponsorship when it comes to these politicians, church, nonprofits. Like, everything is like, they're like clueless about politics in general. And this is why corporations run America. America is not a country. It is a corporation. And people just don't understand that because the educational system doesn't teach you, because the educational system doesn't want you to be empowered. They want you to be smart enough to follow what they say and never smart enough to question it.
I would even go further that the whole system, just not educational, the entertainment system.
Period. Yes. It all plays a key role in oppression, because what people don't understand is in a capitalistic society, it requires poverty. Mm. And as long as you can keep the poor people fighting back and forth, the rich people are walking away with everything. They're walking away with your money. They're walking away with your freedom. They're walking away with the power over your life. I mean, right? It's always been my body, my choice. Now it's whatever the government says to do.
As a quick segue, because you brought up the choice, have either of you heard about Obama's 60th birthday?
No, I don't even like him.
Oh. Well, can I just point out, this is why you never listen to people in power unless they're actually walking what they're preaching. Because Obama's made how many interviews where he's saying, make sure you mask up, make sure you get the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. Well, Obama just had a 60th birthday party at his $12 million mansion.
Right.
With over 100 people.
And none of them had masks.
None of them had masks. All of them were within 6 feet of each other.
I mean, they probably had the vaccine.
Don't have the vaccine.
Oh.
But that's not anything new. This whole entire time, they've been telling people, wear masks, stay 6 feet, but you always catch everybody who said that somewhere unmasked up. Yeah, all the people
shaking
who are
hands.
making the rules are breaking them, but that's how it's always been. But when you're not educated about the evils of the government, it can get lost, because in all the movies, like, there's always this theme, like, the government is good, the police are good, the politicians are good.
In theory, they are supposed to. Especially of all the countries, the American system, in theory, is the best. In theory.
In theory.
But once again, we could also go back to Black Lives Movement. In theory, the goal and the message of Black Lives Movement is good, but the actual
outcome of it was pretty hectic.
Not only the outcome, the actual organization.
Yeah, it was co-opted by George Soros, because nobody knows who these people are. People are just like, he gave $100 million to Black Lives Matter. He cares about Black lives. But it goes back to politics. We just don't know enough about politics, the players, the games, the rules. And, everybody's like, be the change. But these are all just marketing terms. Because in order to be the change, you have to go against the grain. You have to go against the government. And that puts a target on your back. Like, you can't speak truth and have the government endorse you. You speak truth and the government is like, we got to eliminate.
Yeah.
Get her.
She knows too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always been like that, sadly.
They're diabolical. They really, 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 really are. And when you think about
manipulative,
the atrocities that our government has committed, that people just seem to, I don't understand how people forget the atrocities. Like, we speak about Nazi Germany, but we don't speak about how the Americans trained the scientists. They taught them how to do genocide. So that's why they left America. They went over and created genocide in Germany, and then they came back to America, and they virtually walked away. Anybody who was held accountable, they got a slap on the wrist. Like, how do you kill
Because they
millions and
helped
millions
us,
of people?
They helped us in our science programs. When
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And to be fair, I wouldn't say they teach genocide. They taught these scientists the most effective means of taking human life, which then the Germans used for genocide.
But that's what they wanted to do. I mean, if you learn how to kill people,
Yeah, but
I'm test it.
it takes like a pretty sick person to just, well, teach me how to kill people, but I really don't want to kill people.
I'm saying this to put it in perspective. We did just come out of the First World War. So if you're coming out of a war where the entire world was consumed, if I'm running a country, I'm going to want to make sure my country is number one in killing people, because who knows if this is going to happen again. I'm trying to give a different perspective. That's like, to bring it to the hood. If I just got out of a massive gang war in my hood and it's whatever, and I came out on top and I want to stay out on top, I'm going to continue to
Right, you got to
invest.
kill people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how the people you teach to become these ruthless murderers and what they do with that knowledge afterwards, technically it's on you, but at the end of the day, people are people. They're going to do what they want to do. So I'm trying to give a different perspective. I'm not saying I disagree, but
Right.
yeah.
I get where you're coming from.
And to go back to the whole slogan thing, don't you love how Biden's newest slogan is "Build Back Better"?
Oh yeah, that's the tagline for the New World Order. But people don't know that.
No, but I find it funny because people made fun of "Make America Great Again."
And that's
just,
literally
And that's literally what
the
they're
same
saying.
thing. Yeah.
Build back
except
better.
it sounds worse.
It just no. It's Make America sounds worse, but
No, what? What would you rather say? Build back better? Yo, build back better. Build back better. Build back. Blah, 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 blah.
I was
Make America great again. At least I'm like, yo, make America great again.
I like Make America Great,
Great
again.
Again.
Yeah. Because, see, America was great, probably, in theory,
At one
before it became a corporation. I mean, when you have people who want to, control the world,
so that's
things
the Build
happen.
Back Better part. Controlling.
yeah, they want to get the control back.
Take away the political connotations and affiliations. If you're repping a shirt, what would you feel? What sounds better? What's smoother to you on the shirt? Build back better or Make America Great Again? Oh, I'm rocking Make America Great Again every day of the week. Take away who invented it,
Yeah.
because that's the biggest thing. Like, it's not what is said, it's who's saying it, which for me is the complete opposite of how you should look at something. It doesn't matter who's saying it. It should matter what is being said and then what they're doing to support what they're saying.
That's true.
Because my mom could say anything. Just because it's my mom, does that mean it's a good thing? If she says something stupid, it's stupid. I don't care if it's coming from my mom or it's coming from the love of my life. What you said is stupid. Build back better is stupid. It doesn't rhyme. It doesn't sound good. And it's the same shit that the last president said, but now you're
just making it trying to make it sound better.
or sound
Trying
different.
to. Yeah.
Right.
And because it's coming out of your mouth, oh, it's a good thing now? No, you're saying the exact same shit. At least when Trump was in office, he was doing things that was, quote unquote, putting America back in a great stance. People don't want to hear this. What's the number one thing everybody's complaining about? No matter if you're black, white, if you're Dem or Republican, the pharmaceutical companies. Who's the only president in the last at least 30 years to actually stand up to a pharmaceutical company? Trump. The news doesn't say that. Nobody brings that up. Everybody hates the pharmaceutical company. The only president to do anything, oh, he's a shitty president. I know there's a lot of different aspects, but that's one of the things.
Well, because people have this all or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not life.
And it not only is it not life, it's just not realistic. I don't have to agree with everything you say. However, if you say something and it's a fact, I can go with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, despite things being true or not, if it goes against their beliefs, makes them check their beliefs, or makes them uncomfortable with their beliefs, they just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, to me, it's all about facts. If I can actually be like, all right, I agree, or something like that, it doesn't really matter, because the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
So
That's what Malcolm X said. He said, "I'm for the truth. I don't care who tells it."
Yeah.
And I really don't.
yeah,
And see, but people who are into truth those tend to be people who can think like individually, and a lot of people don't think. Yeah, most people are group thinkers.
Yeah, a lot of people nowadays, especially around my age, is followers.
No, it's just not your age.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, from my perspective, I should say.
Well, to make what both of you said true, Taniqua, you are absolutely true. It's people dating back millennium.
Right.
Yeah.
But me and Donyhal's generation, and especially the younger generation, now more than ever, are group thinkers. Because
really?
Think about it. When you were growing up, the only thing that could make you guys group think was the news. Now we got the news.
Social media.
We got the TikToks. Now everything's so woke. We have Cartoon Network making commercials about see your friends in color. See your friends in color. That's what makes kids happy. When I go to school, I'm like, yo, you're my best friend, not because you actually stand up for me when I get bullied. No, you're my best friend.
Because you're black.
Yes. Or now, if you want to be really cool, you're brown and black. You're technically black because you're African, but you're brown because of your literal skin complexion. But by the way, we could call black people brown and black and call white people white. But if you call a Native American red,
it's straight racist.
Yes. Remember
or
these
Asian
facts.
Yellow.
Yes, that's racist too, but call me white. That's okay. Call Taniqua black. That's cool.
I was just thinking about that the other day because I did say, oh, I mean, most white guys, blah, blah, blah. And then we was having, me and another guy was having a conversation at work.
Okay.
But he wanted to say black, but I think he was afraid to see, the outcome of what was going to happen. So he didn't say it. He was like, well, most...
he probably didn't know what to call you because he didn't want you to get offended.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I understand why you say that now because it's to me personally, if I call you a white guy, it's okay. I'm black, obviously. So it's oh, well, black guys, it's okay because it's to me. But
he doesn't know you're a cool individual.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird if he says it to somebody else and they get offended.
Can I say one thing before Taniqua goes on? This is my problem with the word nigga, right? Certain people say that all the time, but the moment a person who isn't technically a nigga says it to you, it's a problem. But the whole concept of that debate is flawed because the moment you bring that word up in a discussion and you're not using it intellectually, that word is free. And if we're being unbiased, that word is free flowing to be used in a conversation.
Yeah.
But see, when I was these terms, when I was growing up,
the N-word period was offensive.
N-word, it was not synonymous with black people. When I grew up, the definition, the definition of a nigger was an ignorant person. Mm-hmm. It has changed. Growing up, we use the term faggot in terms of it wasn't associated with being gay. It just was a word that kind of meant weird.
Or you're a bitch.
Yeah, it wasn't a negative word, but see now they change the meanings of words, and then people take ownership of these words, and then they make it, people want to be politically correct and not be offensive, but you can't tell truth and not be offensive. The truth is offensive because the truth is ugly. The truth, lies are beautiful. Lies make you feel good. They make you feel all warm and fuzzy.
What is it, we say, ignorant bliss or
blissful ignorance.
Yeah.
Or blissful ignorance or the unpleasant truth.
Yeah.
I prefer the unpleasant truth. I just give it to me straight, and I can deal with the truth. What I can't tolerate is the lie. I don't care how beautiful it is.
Well, do you know when the racial terms first started worldwide?
When they set up they set it up. When they came here and started classifying people.
No, but the year, when did we start calling people black, people white, stuff like that? Because I'm trying to support
I remember before they called black people, we were I think we were Negroes before we were black. And then like in the probably 80s or 90s, then they said we were African American.
Yeah, I was about to say 80s from what I remember.
Well, nice history lesson. The way a lot of people talk about black white, they make it seem like race has always existed. The concept of race did not start until the early 1900s. So to go off of Taniqua's point about nigger was for ignorant people. That word was originally, because that word has existed since slavery, right?
Right.
Well, actually, it existed before, because in Africa, there was the term negus, Negus, meant king, and it's Niger, and it's so. What you have is that you have people who take words and change the meaning, like the swastika. The swastika came from Ethiopia.
Which
it has nothing to do with Nazis and Hitler, but they took it and they gave it a new term. And
now if you want to rep a swastika, you're automatically a Nazi.
Yeah.
Right.
When most people actually, no, you're the ignorant one, because if
You don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, the point is, to go off of what Taniqua was saying, I was just trying to say before, the reason why that statement's true, and this is what I try to preach to people, when the term black first came about, it was not specifically for black people. It was for poor people. But of course, over time, this translated to a skin thing.
well, it goes kind of further back than that, because the black people were the Aboriginal people who were here. When they described the people that were here and they drew pictures of them, they were black, dark skinned. Like my people are Creek Indians from Alabama. And my grandfather was a chief, and he fought with the British against the Americans because they did not want to be with the colonizers, who at the time was the Americans. So when they came here and they made these treaties, they created laws that said that Negroes, people of color, could not own land. So the Aboriginal people that, accepted the friendship and at the end of the gun, those were the people that were coined Indians and that the government would recognize. All of the Aboriginal people who rebelled and who fought with them, they labeled them as colored. And then when they set up the government, they took the land. How did they take the land? By creating a government and saying that Negroes and colors and Indians could not own land. And the Indians that they recognized were the ones that they put on the reservation. The Indians that they did not recognize were labeled as colored. And that's kind of the basis of these black codes. And this is, when the government classifies you, it's to deal with you. It's to allocate money. It's to address whatever they want to do with you, because, that's why they classify people. So they classify people initially so that they could set up their own government. Like they came and colonized the land. Christopher, you can't discover a land that, people were here. Mm-hmm. And what people don't understand is that there are more pyramids in the Americas than there are in Africa, because all of the continents were connected. So to separate us, that's what they did. They named you, they called you colored. So that it was just a form of control. Like they came over here and they used these classifications for the sole purpose of just controlling people. Because black is not a race. White is not a race.
No.
But in this corporate structure, white status means something. And either you're white or you're black. That's why like these Bangladeshis, the Arabians.
But why are they considered white? Because they have the money.
Because they have the money. Well, and they're considered white because they have the money, and because they are
is it the money or the
part
power?
of it's a part of the power structure.
It's
imperialism.
You really can't have power without money, and you really can't have money without it's two in the same.
Especially in a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm speaking, because in other societies, if it's like tribal, then money doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
the power is the only thing that matters, and power is the dominance, be
Right.
it mentally or physically,
Right. Just like the money here used to be backed by silver
and gold.
Yeah.
and gold, but it's not now.
Which, by the way, there's a case to be made that actually we need to go back to that system, because if you don't have the current system we have where it's just backed by...
They just make money. They just go back and just print out money.
Yep.
I wish I knew how to print money.
Yes. No, you don't. You don't want those problems.
Yeah, you don't want those...
Black man printing money.
I was
You're
about
going
to-
to get it first.
And I'm saying black man because you're a poor man printing money.
I can make a business out of it. The government come with me to. We can come to an agreement.
Oh, bro, they're gonna use you, and then when they're done with you,
Nah, we come to agreement. It's either my way, or we could come eye to eye, or it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, because before capitalism, people bartered.
yeah. But
And
most people don't even realize that.
because they don't teach it. I mean, that's why they say knowledge is for those who seek it, because you're not going to become knowledgeable unless you do the research, because the system is going to teach you what the system wants you to know so that you are easily controlled. It's all about control, nothing more, nothing less.
Well, it's also common sense, and common sense,
Isn't so common.
yeah. Because, for example, as I'm going to put this in the video, can you guys explain this photo to me? How does this make... Forget what's going on in the world. How does a man riding a motorcycle have no helmet on, but he's wearing a mask above his nose?
He's a zombie.
He's stupid.
Most zombies are stupid.
So, as you guys can, I'm pretty sure he'll show it up. But it's a guy wearing a mask fully over his face, and he's on a motorcycle. He has no safety, safety helmet, no pads, knee pads, nothing.
No elbow pads.
Nothing.
Yo, that's a great point.
But yet, he has a mask on.
Wait,
Outside at that.
yeah, but look at the greenery in the background, because when I was growing up, I was taught that the chlorophyll in the greenery helps clean the air,
True.
and that the sunlight helps disinfect. So I don't know why you have all these idiots riding around, walking. I mean, you see people walking by themselves with the damn mask on. It's just, these people are stupid, and they're agents of the government. If you are out somewhere...
A lot of diseases, when it touches air, it automatically disintegrates.
Exactly.
A lot
But
of diseases.
this is what they do, Ale. And see, if you're in a medical field and you have all these dumbass nurses and all these
You never
stupid ass
touch your face.
doctors,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, you have to wear a mask. It is impossible to wear a mask
Properly.
properly outside of a clinical setting, because every time you touch it, it's cross contamination. You have to throw it out. If you wear a mask in this room and you go into the next room, technically you're
gotta take your
supposed to
mask, yep.
discard it and get another one. You have these dumbass people. They have one mask. They wear that shit all day, every day. They probably wear it until they find another one. They put it on the thing in their car. And then when they go into the store, they put it on. They're taking it off, blowing their nose, talking on the phone. And then they want to look at you without a mask and say, oh, you don't care about anybody. You're being selfish. No, I just like to breathe. That's all. And I have an immune system. I have a God-given immune system. Nobody talks about, these same people are fat. They're unhealthy. They're sloppy. They're dirty. And they're running around worried about somebody else wearing a mask. Like they're stupid.
Which, by the way, if they actually believed in the distancing, why are you getting up in my face that I'm not wearing a mask?
You're not wearing a mask. Like, I can smell your breath, dude. Back up.
And as you said, as we were discussing off mic and camera, what is the only type of mask that fully protects you or protects you to the best capability
Is
from
it a medical mask?
N95.
How many people do you actually see wearing an
I don't. Everybody is wearing this.
Which mask is those?
Those are the ones where they look mechanical in a sense.
Yeah.
So the hazard mask.
Yeah,
the half.
But
mask.
the ones that don't
the
have
full ones.
The little puffy
The
things
filters.
on
Yeah.
the side.
because
Yeah,
those
filters.
those actually allow airborne viruses to get in. You need to have the pure, like, single-cased ones. The filter.
Because like gas mask.
Yeah, because the way they're designed, technically there's air openings. That's why they don't approve of the filter ones.
Oh, okay. Because I definitely have a filter one.
Yeah. Those filter ones are for, like, when you're doing construction with dust-like substances.
But we have, I forgot what it's called, but we have, like, the cotton stuff that covers it. That helps us breathe, though.
But that's the problem.
Without the substance going in.
But that's the problem. And that's a lot of problem with them. Like, people don't know the material that are in masks.
This is true.
And those fibers that they're using to...
Most of them come from China, by the way.
Most of them come from China,
Yeah.
and most of them have plastic microfibers.
Which any plastic, which is another reason, if you want to get away from plastic straws, don't do it for the environment. Do it for yourself. Because every time you can, which, by the way, the reason why I hate water bottles isn't because of, well, part of it is because of the environment, but like right now, every time you drink from that, even if it's the slightest, you're getting some type of plastic particles with that water. Just because whenever two substances go up against each other, particles wear off. Which is why they say if you're going to have any type of metal, technically speaking, you should have silver metal because silver in low doses is actually good for you.
Yeah.
Which is why the rich always dine with silver plate or with silver utensils.
Yeah, they pull out their nice silver utensils that they clean them.
Dine with.
They clean them like, once a week. They make the maid clean them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That makes sense.
It's the little things, bro.
It's too many little things. It's a lot.
Well, this is why a few people will say they would rather live hundreds of years ago when you take away the political stuff because life was simpler. Yes, you made a lot less money, but at the end of the day, your life was worth living to where you had a purpose. Like you might not have the fame, you might not have the money, but the things that matter to humans subconsciously, that's what was at the forefront back then. You didn't have to worry about plastics. You didn't have to worry about all these microchips. You didn't have to worry about all these signals going through the air.
Yeah.
What you had to worry about, protect your family, which, by the way, every human subconsciously thinks about, and that's what gives you value in life. And then you have to worry about, am I under a shitty king or not? But at the end of the day, what is money and fame if you feel like killing yourself anyways? Money and fame doesn't mean anything if you want to kill yourself. What's the point of having $1 billion if you're going to die in 10 years because your dumbass was consuming all these plastics, not realizing it, and now you have cancer? Mm-hmm. If you lived before the 1800s, before the Industrial Revolution, life was very simple.
And you were healthier.
Yes.
A lot healthier.
Government was smaller. We didn't have all these corporations. See, the way they set up the power structure put us to where we are today.
But I'm glad you said that. It's so funny because people say, "Oh, now is better than ever because we don't have monarchies, right?" Well, to be fair, we still do. It's just you're being sold it in a different manner. Corporations are monarchies.
Yes, they are.
Name me one monarchy that had the power of Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft. I'll wait. Maybe Britain. Maybe America at their peak before, like right between World War I and World War II. So what, 2, maybe 3 countries in the entire world, in the entire history of humanity, had the power that 3 companies have right now? Yo, think about it. Mm-hmm. Think about everything we use. When are you not using an Apple product, a Microsoft product, or an Amazon product? I'll wait.
My hair.
No, but...
he said my hair.
That's all I got.
That's a good question to ask, right?
Yeah.
And then if you want to be a real dickhead and say blah, 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 okay, expand it to 10 companies.
But you know what? We really don't even know to the extent of what these people own because of all these corporations and how they created corporations to be entities amongst themselves.
Yeah.
So you think like that there are all these corporations when it's probably like a handful of them.
Oh, well, to be fair, when I say Amazon, I'm talking about Amazon and everything they own. Mm-hmm. Because unlike most people, I know about subsidiaries.
Right, but they don't. Like a lot of people, and that's so that we can't get the connections.
Well, most of the time, companies make subsidiaries so they can't be labeled a monopoly.
Right, and so that you can't realize that the world is being controlled by like 8 families. Because if everyone knew the extent, like these food companies, they're part of the pharmaceutical companies. And I mean, this is how come our food is not healthy. Like, we're not even eating food. We're eating a bunch of chemicals.
At least in America, because to be fair to Europe, Europe doesn't play when it comes to the pharmaceuticals and their food. In terms of, it's a lot more strict than America. I'm not saying it's...
I mean, it is, and I'll give you that, but the way the Rockefellers set it up, I mean, and you can see how it's being, you can see the extent because everybody's pushing this vaccine.
Yeah.
And the way, and if you look at the history of the pharmaceutical company created the United Nations. The pharmaceutical company created the American Medical Association. The pharmaceutical company created, what else did they create? They created the UN, the American Medical Association, and the World Health Organization.
I was about to say anything worldwide.
And that's how they got it. They created this monopoly, this global monopoly with the pharmaceutical industry, because they set up these institutions that allow them to be put in other countries. Just like if you look at the president of Tanzania, you look at Cuba, you look at all of these countries that initially say, you know what, we're not going to push a vaccine. They went and they assassinated the president in Tanzania. As soon as he died, the new president was like, yeah, we're going to get the vaccine in tomorrow. So you can kind of see their power, because nobody, I mean, we have an immune system. And it's so funny that these doctors, I don't hear anybody saying in the same breath, like, if you support a vaccine, fine. But they should also be telling you, you need to eat healthy, you need to exercise, like you have an immune system, you need to support it. Nobody talks about supporting your God-given immune system. They put this narrative out like, if you get sick, then automatically I'm going to get sick. There have been lots of times that, people in my house get sick. I don't get sick. I take my vitamins, I drink my water, I exercise, and I don't get sick. I rarely get sick. Like I can, the last time I was sick was 6 years ago. I got, sick in November. But nobody pushes that. Everybody pushes this vaccine, and the pharmaceutical companies, they don't create cures. They create customers.
Yeah. For me, I like you said, I barely get sick throughout the year too. I probably get sick like once a year, maybe. So it really depends on how you treat your body at the end of the day. So I definitely agree with that.
And they have everybody pushing it, but a lot of people don't even know what's in it, which I find to be absolutely
Well, I was going to say
ridiculous
about the FDA, as say what you will about our government, misinterpreting what people are really saying. Just because people are saying they're against this vaccine doesn't mean they're against vaccines in general.
Yeah.
Because people have been making this point. Oh, because I don't want to get this vaccine, that means I don't believe in vaccines, period. No. Saying that I don't want this vaccine is very different from saying I don't want the polio vaccine. Polio and COVID-19 are literally rhinos and aliens. The only thing they have in common are viruses. Polio is guaranteed. Every person who's ever gotten polio, you have had completely life-changing experiences and you eventually die. COVID-19, what? When it comes to actual COVID, it's 99.95% of people actually die from COVID?
No. They actually survive it.
Oh, I mean, yes. My bad, yeah.
They actually the word.
Yes, they actually survive it.
Yeah.
I mean, but the greatest thing is that people just are stupid. That's what people are stupid, and they don't totally have the ability to ingest new information and then take that information and then apply it. Because what everybody kind of skipped over is the fact that the FDA pulled the PCR test, and the PCR test was the gold standard for COVID. Yeah. Even though the inventor said that it is not a good diagnostic tool, they used it. They yanked it because of 90% false positives. But when that comes across the media, people are so dumb that it goes over their head. And if the test presented 90% false positives, then you can't say all of these people died of COVID. You can't, because they did not have an accurate test. And the reason they don't have an accurate test is because SARS-CoV-2 is 96% identical to SARS-CoV-1, which is the reason why 99.9% of the people survive it, is because we already have some immunity to it, because it's part of a family of viruses that we've been experiencing our entire lives.
Yeah, you know why? Because COVID is not that different from the...
It's the flu.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Flu,
it's crazy.
cold,
Because
all
I've been
that.
remember in the beginning I said this too. I was like, the only people that's like really dying from it is because of their immune system.
Or the treatments.
Yeah. I said this in the very beginning. I was like, if your immune system is, if you kept up with it from the beginning, you're fine. Even if you catch it, it won't, like, you're fine.
But people are like, oh, and they go on Facebook, and I mean, I understand the fear.
People just like drama.
I got COVID. Please pray for me.
People like attention.
When you got the flu, did you say I got the flu? Please pray for me. I got a cold. Please pray for me.
And the thing that people don't realize, every time a new variant comes out, that's not a variant. Well, technically it's a variant of COVID-19, but that's another way to say this is the new year of the virus. So the variant they were talking about, that wasn't that's not COVID-19, that's COVID-20. And the Delta variant isn't a variant of COVID-19, it's a variant of COVID-20, and the Delta variant is another way to say COVID-21.
But see, the question should be, have they isolated
the actual
virus?
No.
And the answer to that is no.
But
so if they haven't isolated it, how are they interpreting these variants? And the variants always seem to come when people are like, forget COVID. They're living their best life. And then they're like, oh, we got all these infections. It's the Colombian variant. It's going to kill you.
But Mama, think about this too. When was the last year when they said the new variant, whatever it was last year? It was during the end of summer.
Right.
Why? Because at the end of summer brings the beginning of fall, which is when the flu season comes.
Right.
Yeah.
But when does the flu season normally start? When they start giving out the flu vaccine. They are making people sick. See, I don't even, once I started looking into the history of the pharmaceutical industry, I don't believe in vaccines. I don't believe in any of that stuff. All it is just...
So you don't believe in like the smallpox vaccine or the polio vaccine?
No.
I
And if
believe
I knew
in-
more, I would have never got my kids vaccinated.
I believe in some aspects of a vaccine only because a vaccine, technically, they give you what the actual sickness is. Only so your immune system can get used to it and progress from it.
Okay.
That's the reason why I accept the part of vaccine.
Right. But who told you that?
No, real quick. Do you disagree with the concept of a vaccine, or do you disagree with who's giving the vaccines?
Well, see, there are a couple different germ theories. So it really depends on what germ theory you believe. And at this point, when it comes to the pharmaceutical industry, they are just simply not to be trusted.
I don't
believe
disagree with you.
That a lot of the illnesses that we have are a direct result of the crap that they put in the vaccines. Now, if the vaccines were just a little introduction to a virus, an attenuated virus,
so you believe
I might agree with you.
So you believe in the principle of a vaccine?
I believe in the principle.
Okay.
However, they throw in fetal tissue. They're throwing in all of these toxins, aluminum, all of these things that are toxic to your system.
So you believe in vaccines the same way you believe in cigarettes. You have no problem smoking a pure cigarette if you actually enjoyed smoking cigarettes.
Right.
But your problem is the individuals making the cigarettes, because when you get a cigarette, it's a lot more than tobacco.
Right.
Okay.
It's the cut they put on it. They put a bad cut on it. Like, you get your drugs. You want pure drugs. People are like, give me the purest drug. And then they chop it up and they put all of these other drugs in it. And now...
Which is why I try to tell people, cocaine is not bad for you. It's everything else in the cocaine.
Mixed into it, yeah.
When they step on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no coincidence that South
They
Americans...
used to put cocaine in Coke.
But it was pure cocaine.
But it was pure cocaine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nobody was dying back then.
No, it was actually, I remember, it was in the Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
They
that's
said,
why
have a Coke
it's
and a
called
smile
Coke.
and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally.
And to be
I
fair,
remember that.
South Americans have been dealing with the cocoa leaf for how many years, and there is no major thing.
I love chocolate. So anything that comes from a cocoa leaf,
No, but when I said cocoa, I meant
Yeah.
the coke leaf.
Yeah.
the
My bad.
coke leaf.
But yes, the cocoa leaf too is dope.
Yeah, did you see how they make cocaine and how they gasoline and all
Yeah,
this
everything
other
else
crap?
is like it's a coke. The coke that they make now is more of a chemical thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when a lot of people say coke, they're saying crack because technically, the definition of crack it's cocaine
It's coke
mixed with
solidified.
yes,
Crack is whack.
crack is
I
whack.
just wanted to say that.
Crack is whack. Definitely.
Shout out to Whitney Houston.
Yes, shout out. To her.
I'm just saying, she said it, crack is whack.
But yeah, it's definitely coke and it's
And by the
coke
way,
itself
the cocoa
is-
bean. It's the coke leaf and the cocoa bean because it was just getting to me.
Yeah. Coke itself though it's supposed to be pure.
Well,
It's
to be
supposed
fair,
but-
the reason most people don't know this, coke was originally used in hospitals, and
Yeah.
nobody was overdosing on coke unless they were getting too much of it. Which, by the way, if you consume too much water, you can die from water. So when people say, "Oh, he died from cocaine because he consumed too much," yes, that's what's supposed to happen. If you have too much of anything, you
Right.
die.
Moderation.
Yes.
Moderation.
But I'm just going off of that because once again, the media, which is part of the corporations, and the corporations, which is either part of the governments or they're controlling the governments, they're feeding people this knowledge to make you think a certain type of way so then they could feed you other stuff
Right.
in the process.
Right.
Which, by the way, most people don't realize paper isn't the best way to transfer printed information. What is? Hemp.
Oh, yeah,
But the reason why hemp isn't used for novels and every other type of paper-like substance is because the person who owned all these timber yards was going to lose a lot of money if hemp became the new source.
See, this is why knowledge is for those who seek it, because anything that they are telling you is part of the agenda that they are pushing.
Have this statement since we're talking about vaccines to go off of the whole anti-vax thing. Saying someone is anti-vax because they're against vaccines being forced upon people is like saying someone is anti-sex, actually having sex, because they're against rape. Let that sink in.
Say it one more time.
Saying somebody is anti-vax because they're against the concept of vaccines being forced upon the people by the government is no different than saying a group of people is anti-having sex because they're against rape. Which
I agree with that.
I wholeheartedly, because what is rape? It's forced sex.
Right.
Yeah.
So just because I'm saying I'm not going to get this vaccine doesn't mean I'm anti-vax. That's no difference than saying I'm anti-sex because I disagree with rape. The whole point of the quote is to show the double standards and the hypocrisy, how people aren't consistent, and they don't even realize how inconsistent they are.
Because they're
this-
stupid.
Yeah, the same people saying, rape should be illegal. Okay, if that should be illegal, then anything forced on you upon the government should be.
Listen, it's just as bad as the damn Democrats saying that vaccine that the same people who are pushing against the voter registration, the new voter registration rules, but they're for vaccine passports. It's just, see, that's what I'm saying with these agendas. These people are just absolutely ridiculous.
Amen. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
It's just absolutely ridiculous.
I'm glad because that was going to be the next segue since we were on vaccines. I was waiting to you read my mind. And by the way, if you're all for voter ID laws in terms of wanting to see ID, and then you're consistent on the other end of the spectrum, I respect that. The same
Right.
thing if you
Right.
don't want ID,
Right.
I respect that. But you can't come to me saying, "Oh, you want ID for vaccines, but you don't want ID for
For voting.
yes."
Yeah, because they stole that election. I don't care what anybody says. They stole the election. The Democrats. Yes, they stole the election.
And by the way, no matter which way you want to go about it, to some degree they stole it. Even if, let's say hypothetically, they didn't put in a single fake vote. The Democrats own the media, and the media had a massive sway on the public.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell me why the media was always talking about Trump's health, yet when was the last time you heard the media say anything about Biden slurring his words?
Listen, Biden. He needs to go. He sucks. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. I don't even think he knows where he's at half the time. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I have this. How do you guys like this meme? I thought this was a funny meme. Specifically, this is with Cartoon Network.
Listen, I just think, I'm so, listen.
Daniel knows this.
Listen, the way that they are pushing
to accept LGBT.
Listen, this is the only problem that I have is why are we having conversations about who people are sleeping with?
Well, that's a great question. My follow-up question, why are we acting like the minority is the majority?
Because that's the agenda. That's the agenda that they're pushing because if everybody else is doing it, why don't you do it too? We'll be a little bit gay right now.
That's what they're forcing.
Which, by the way, talk about words changing meaning. Gay the original definition of gay was happy.
Was happy. And the original word for faggot was a bundle of wood. And
sticks,
the way,
a
bundle of sticks.
Yeah.
And the way that they manipulate words and they
said bundle of sticks,
media.
Bundle of...
And I don't like it. I don't like to see that.
Real quick, can Daniel finish that?
Oh, go ahead.
A bundle of sticks.
They said faggot, a bundle of sticks, a bundle of dicks. They really changed.
Changed the meaning.
Yeah, you can change one word and it completely means something else just because of that.
That's so funny because you could run a whole political campaign on that, bro.
Yeah.
That is so genius. That is so. Yo, we can make it. Yo, we need to brand that, bro.
I'm not branding that.
You are going to be stepping on the sensitivity.
Yeah.
Like everybody is so sensitive. Like you can't talk. You can't. If people are fat and you say they're fat, then it's a problem. Like people have a problem with the truth.
We'll talk about that too.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
We're just stating the obvious.
Daniel,
you're fat.
What does Francis always say? He's not being mean. He's just
telling the truth.
Being real.
Well, this is Francis's biggest point. Why is it okay for a woman to always highlight how short or tall a man is, but the moment a man highlights
her weight,
it's a problem?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Women our generation has a big deal with height.
You won't hear about it because it's not as a out front thing. But females,
it's political.
Yeah, females love tall men. If you're average height, you want a taller man. Technically, you just want a taller man than you.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, I don't want anybody who's shorter than me.
Exactly. Now,
but you can't protect me.
But
a short man can protect you.
It's all about technique. It's not about the size.
But it is kind of
not really. A short man can have a gun and shoot whoever's hurting you or puts you in harm's way.
I know a lot of short men that can knock out a tall guy.
Well, I wouldn't chance it. I think the probability is low.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes me feel safe if you got somebody who's at least your own height.
Which, by the way, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying if you're so quick to highlight my height, which, by the way, I'm not offended because what you're stating is a fact.
It's a fact.
I hate my height too. If I could be 5'11", I think that's the perfect height for a man.
But the average height for a woman is 5'5", right? Or 5'2", or something like that.
5'4" in America.
Yeah.
So aren't you pretty average? Isn't the average woman like the same as you?
Well, first off, I'm technically an inch shorter than the average height. Francis is only 5'7". The average height is 5'8". But the point is, why have a 5'7" man when you can have a 5'11"? Why have a 5'11" man when you could have a 6'4"? So my point is, okay, that's your logic.
Right.
So my logic is, why should I have a 300-pounder when I could have a 200-pounder? Why can't I have a 200-pounder when I should have a 125 solid meat?
Well, I just think it goes by preference. Some men, some women, I don't want a man that's like, I don't want a tall man. I want somebody who's eye level with me.
But once again, height
problems looking up.
more or less doesn't have that major effect on health. Weight always does.
True.
So when I'm highlighting a fact, it's also helping your life. You shouldn't want to be 300 pounds.
That's a fact. Not unless you stable.
No woman, no matter how tall she is, should not be 300 pounds. Even the tallest woman in the world isn't 300 pounds with the densest bone density alive.
Right, but there's somebody for everybody.
I'm not disagreeing, but this is once again preference and all that stuff. But don't come out judging one aspect and it's okay, and judging another, but it's not okay. It's consistency. And then once again, don't be a celebrity pushing your 300-pound weight is healthy. Hey, if you're 300 pounds and you're okay with that,
cool.
More power to you.
Right.
But when you're telling my kid it's okay to be 300 pounds, now we have an issue because not only are you preaching lies, but you're trying to make it seem it's cool, and that's not cool.
Right. Right, and I like that. But see, that goes back to the group thinking.
Yeah.
And these agendas that they're pushing, that they use the media. Period. Because a lot of people, you have to think, like the first law of man is to think for yourself. Most people don't think for themselves. They sit in front of the boob tube, and the boob tube tells them what to do. And a lot of people take their preferences and their beliefs off of TV, not knowing that their mind is being programmed. If you don't program your mind, someone will do it for you. That's why it's called TV programs. Growing up, they were like, this program. Now they just call it,
commercial or...
they don't call it program. They just call it like shows. No, they're programming your mind.
Oh, no, yeah, they used to call it TV shows, TV programs.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Oh, we bring this program to you.
So a lot of the things that we believe that we think are not things that we actually think, is just shit that has been programmed into our mind because we watch these TV shows and they tell us what beauty is. They tell us what type, what a man is, what a man does. Like all of these beliefs are being handed down to us through TV programming.
But to be fair, at a certain point in time, what the programs were saying a man is, for the most part, it was true. Naturally, men are masculine. Naturally, men are dominant. Naturally, men are... Yes, on average. And then naturally, women are feministic. Naturally, women are caring. Naturally, women are the
nurturers.
Bond.
Yeah, the nurturing.
The nurturers, the bond that keeps the house together.
Right.
Now, just because you're different doesn't mean you're a man, but now that's what programs are saying. If you like boy toys.
Yeah. If I was growing up right now, they would say I was transgendered, probably a little transracial, probably, a little.
Have you heard of transracial, by the way, bro?
You've never heard of transracial? Mm-hmm. Everything is trans.
Yeah. So technically you're not black. Okay, this is why words need to have meanings, because
they do. People just need to know what they mean.
Okay, so using how society uses the words.
Transracial. Are you trying to say...
So you're a black man, but you're actually white because you talk white.
Because I speak proper.
Yeah. But if
you might identify with being...
Indian, though. So you could be a black, white Indian.
You could be whatever you want to be, basically. No, not you because you're black. Trans is for everybody who isn't black unless you're gay. Then you can be trans. Like, I can't say I'm transracial. People are going to look at me like I have 5 heads. I can't say, I really identify with being white.
No, but I think that would be more...
But white people can identify with being black.
No, I disagree.
But that's what the transracial term came from Rachel... Dudes, whatever that woman is who was running the NAACP, who lived her life as a black woman, but she wasn't black.
But she's getting a lot of shit now. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but now they coined a phrase and called her transracial. And there is this other woman who was transracial, and somehow she took some melanin, her and her husband, and their skin is brown because they're transracial.
So they did some skin pigment.
But this is the problem with the term race, because if you get down to, as we said before, the original term of race was used for social economic reasons.
Right.
And then the moment it turned into a physical characteristic, people are now confused because, like, for example, what happens to a person who's half Hispanic, half white, but they look more white? Are they technically white or are they Hispanic?
They're Hispanic.
They're Hispanic in general, but people are going to identify them as white just from looking at them.
But this is the problem. See, on paper, they're Hispanic, right? Mm-hmm. But if they see them in person, and let's say that Hispanic voted for Trump, oh, they're racist.
But see, Hispanics get white status. See, people are so confused about what's going on.
But some Hispanics don't, because some Hispanics are darker than others. Yeah. Like, for example...
Right, colorism exists in every race. Like, there are black Chinese people, there are black Russians, but they don't show those people.
Yeah.
But it's also, there's a difference. There's a difference between nationality and ethnicity. There's a difference between ethnicity and racism. Right. Ethnicity is like sex. You can't change it. That is your blood. Nationality, you can't technically change that because that's where you were born.
Correct.
Race? What is race? 1 second it's skin color, the next second it's your ethnicity.
Social construct.
Exactly. So if something is a social construct, why is it okay, since genders are supposedly a social construct, why is it okay you could just flip-flop any gender, but you can't flip-flop race? If we're being technical...
Listen, it's a slippery slope. This shit is stupid. That's what it all boils down to, is that it's not grounded in fact. It's based upon how some people who have power, how they feel, period. Yeah. Because you cannot identify... in one breath, they're saying, oh, I'm a trans woman. No, you're not a trans woman. Trans women are real women. No, you're not. You're not.
Well, I have no problem somebody saying there's a...
I do. Of course you wouldn't. You're a man. I do.
No, you didn't let me finish. I have no problem with somebody saying, I am a trans woman.
And they change...
If they went through the full operation.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, I'm not saying woman. I have no problem with somebody saying I'm a trans woman if they went through the full operation. I will never be okay with somebody saying they're a woman if they're a man, and I will never be okay with somebody saying they're any type of woman if they didn't go through any surgery. Because if we're being technical...
Wait. What you said if we're being technical? If we're going to be technical, is a woman not more than a vagina and some boobs and some heels and some lips and hips?
No, I was going to say, if we're being technical...
It's all about the genitals, the genitalias, all of that.
No, but it's getting pregnant and stuff. What I was going to say is most people don't want to hear this. Most people are getting sex changes, or they're just saying there's something they're not because that's the cool thing to do. Being transgender is technically a mental disorder, but people don't want to hear that.
They're crazy.
Well...
I wouldn't say that.
Wait. You have to fundamentally think about what they're saying, okay? You're saying that I identify with being a woman. You've never been a woman. All a man has in his brain is what he thinks a woman is. All I have in my brain is what I think a man is. Now, is what I think a man is really a man? I don't know, because I'm not one. But I know today if I got into an accident and I was bad and my vagina burnt off, my boobs burnt off.
You're still a woman.
I'm still a woman. So you cannot tell me that because you had a operation that somehow makes you a woman. You're not a...
But that makes you a trans woman, though.
You can be whatever you want to be. But that doesn't mean that that's what you are. Because you may consider yourself, I'm a trans woman. Okay, you're a trans woman because technically you're a man and you're living your life as a woman. But I can respect that, but don't tell me that a trans woman is a real woman, because a trans woman is not a real woman.
Well, by the way, that's the same thing for trans men. You're not a real man. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, definitely.
Get into a fight. You'll find out that you're really not a real man. Because you're going to get your ass whooped.
Trans people do exist, but they don't exist in the quantity that the media is making it out to be in the entertainment industry. Like, out of nowhere, now it's like, 1 out of every 10 people are trans. No. That is
They
not.
might be.
No, that's not. Because they're not truly. How many people have you known try to act like they're? Because before the trans movement, it was the homo movement. How many women wanted to be lesbian because it was cool, and they really weren't lesbian. They were just being lesbian because
In that moment, it was the thing. It's a lot of women that's out here that still be, oh, I like females, but then it's like, oh, you ever had sex with a female? No. Are you gonna try it? It's like you.
Are you gonna get pegged by a female? Or are you gonna get eaten out by a female?
Are you actually gonna do it? And then they be like, well, no, I like females though. Females is attractive.
People are confused now.
Yeah.
I don't think people are just confused.
But that's what I'm saying. That's no different than these people saying, "Oh, I'm a woman because I feel like it." Mm-hmm. If you really felt like you're a woman, you would fully go through the surgery.
But even if you go through the surgery, that's not gonna. A woman is your essence. So you can.
But Mama, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, we both agree that a truly trans person, it's a mental disease, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if they truly believe that they're a woman, I'm not saying they are. I'm saying they have the right to go through the surgery if they fully pay for it and they can fully say they're a trans woman. If somebody thinks, like, if they're born thinking they're a woman, right?
They can't. That's the concept that I can't even.
I believe it because that's no different than a person being born as a man, but he wants to fuck other men.
Wait. Hold up. See, this is where it all gets confusing because just because you like to sleep with a man, that doesn't necessarily. Listen, but their whole concept of how they just put all that shit together, it just makes no sense because in essence, when I grew up, I was a tomboy. I did not like playing with dolls. My mother would buy me dolls. Those shits would sit in the corner.
You were still attracted to men, though, right?
But when I was growing up, I wasn't.
Because you're a kid. You're not supposed to be.
I was a kid. I wasn't attracted to anybody. I just wanted to play with everybody.
Okay, but once you got your hormones in your system, what were you attracted to ever since then?
Boys.
Okay. Some women, when they're born, I wholeheartedly believe they're attracted to women, and no matter how much dick they get.
But that still doesn't make them, and if they went through the change, that still wouldn't make them a man.
No, I agree, but what I'm trying to say is there's a difference between being attracted to a woman and knowing you're a woman and being attracted to women and thinking you're a man.
But you can't think you're a man.
But you can. You know why? Because there's people out here that think that they're these other...
Is it how they're raised or what they're being told?
No, bro, it has nothing. Because, bro, for example, do you think psychopaths, no matter how they're raised... Like, for example, Michael Myers. He could have had the best parents alive. He's a psychopath. You know why? Because he was born that way.
Right.
Some people, it's very rare, but it's still... Some people are born thinking they are the opposite sex. Not because of society.
Then let me ask you this. But see, here's the thing. Because we were all kids at some point in time. When did you find out that you were a boy or you were a girl?
That's what I'm saying.
Because when you're a kid, you're just a kid. Kids don't have a sex.
Yeah, you're like...
this idea that you're born...
thinking about... see, this is where words are important. Sex is scientific. Gender is what we're talking about, boy versus...
But gender is... gender is not fluid.
That's why I'm saying, is it what you're taught growing up or is it like what you've been told? Because technically I can be born as a boy, but my mom could probably just teach me the ways of being a female and that my mentality is now I'm...
But this is why language is important. We could use whatever word. We could use banana, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever a X and Y chromosome is... That is whatever word you want to use it. We as society know that as a male. You can never change that. A XX chromosome is a woman.
Right.
That's the word we use. You can never change that. And then in the rare circumstances, there are the XXY, the he-she's. We can never change that. There are only 3 sexes.
What is a he-she?
It's when a person is born with 3 chromosomes instead of 2, meaning they are born.
So you talking about hermaphrodites?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Those exist.
Yes.
You can't deny that.
Right.
But when you are a person born as a male, and then you say you're a man, or you say you're a woman,
You're crazy.
Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because all of this is made up. But if the society we know uses a male as a man and a female as a woman, you have to use those words that apply. Does that make sense? Because the moment you start using different words,
right,
that's not on society to adapt. That's on you to adapt.
Correct.
Society isn't going to adapt.
Right.
So when the whole I'm going to call you gay because I want to be called gay because it sounds less offensive than homosexual. No, I'm not going to adapt because that's not the definition of gay. A word was created for a man liking a man and a woman liking a woman. It's called homosexual. But because that sounds too intellectual and for some people it sounds offensive, we had to create lesbian and gay. No, it's homosexual.
That's true.
The same thing with these men who want to be quote unquote women. No, you're a man. You might be feminine. That's okay. Now, if you were born and you have a female mind, which I believe is possible because...
Like I'm saying, it could be...
Mama, let me ask you this.
Do you believe
Do you believe people are born with many fetishes?
Yeah.
Okay, do you believe there are people who are born with many different personalities?
Yes.
Do you believe people are born, as a majority, they're in good spirit?
Yes.
But there are exceptions to the rule, right?
There's always an exception. There are always exceptions.
So knowing that and knowing how the fucked up world we live in just because of biology, I cannot say a person is not born with a female mind. But when the percent goes from 0.1% to 10%, just because I know numbers and I know about statistics, that's when I know, okay, this isn't scientific anymore. This is socialistic.
Right. There's nothing scientific about any of this shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying back then when 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 1,000,000 people actually said they were born in the opposite sex. I can believe that.
I can't. Prove it. Prove it. Take a brain and take it out and prove to me what a female brain is and a male brain is. It's not. They cannot prove it. You cannot tell me. I was born in the wrong body. But
that's no different.
What society is pushing on people.
But that's no different from gay then, because you can't prove if somebody's gay. Oh, I'm sucking a dick. That doesn't. How can we prove that means you're gay? That doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
If you're a man and you put a penis in your mouth,
you're being
gay.
a hypocrite. That's no different than a transsexual. It's a mental thing. You can't prove it unless you go into their brain.
Listen.
Okay, what about this?
We are moving into this is what the agenda is about. Because
no, would you eat a pussy if your family was going to die? If I said right now you have two options, you eat this pussy or I'm going to kill your entire family. Are you eating that pussy?
Are you?
Answer the question.
To save your family.
Answer the question. Your entire family. I'm talking about all the way down to the third cousins.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's this hard? I'm gonna kill all your friends too.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, this is really hard. Okay, I'm gonna kill the entire black community. You still can't answer the question?
Listen, I can't answer the question. I have a vagina. I don't even know. I could never even put my face near one.
See, once again,
I don't even like mine. So why would I like somebody else's?
I agree with you. I hate that. But the point I was trying to make, if I had to save my family and my friends, I would suck a dick. But I would
just kill people. How about that? Why isn't that an option?
Because I'm trying to make a point. Just because you're doing something doesn't make it that.
Listen, if you're a man and you suck a dick, you're gay. I don't care if you did it on a dare. I don't care if you did it to save your family. Okay, so if you're a man
and you do a feminine act, you're a woman then. That's the same logic.
It's the same logic.
How is it the same logic? Because all women don't put penises in their mouth.
All women don't put vaginas in their mouth.
They shouldn't. But I wouldn't recommend it.
What woman do you... any woman
in your generation now, everybody probably sucks because in your generation there are no rules. Everybody just is like a wild child. You know what you just said?
That's like saying not every woman takes a dick in their vagina. No, every woman takes dick. Every woman.
Every woman does not put a penis in their mouth. I know people. I know people
say
who
that's
don't.
Okay, then you know why they don't.
Listen, do you know how old I was before I even knew anything about, or I was a grown-up before I knew anything about oral sex. I was like, people do what? You pee out of that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
And you bleed out a pussy.
Yeah, so people want to eat it?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you want to.
Then why are you taking dick in your pussy then? It bleeds.
Because that's where it's supposed to go. Putting a mouth there and putting a penis there are two totally different things.
No, it's not. Do you know?
This is why y'all do it.
No. Do you know what your pussy's made out of? The skin type?
No.
It's the same skin that's in your mouth.
Okay.
So you
What's the
saying it's different? There is no difference.
Because I have one. See, you can say you don't have one. You don't wake up with one and you don't go to bed with one.
I eat pussy. I don't like eating pussy.
But that's because you don't have one.
And you don't have a dick.
No.
So
Right.
you should suck the dick.
Clitoris is technically
What?
a dick. The clitoris is technically a dick.
And
True. Every baby was a female. Every
Yes.
person on this earth was a female first.
yes.
Technically.
So see, that's why men can. I don't know. Maybe.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
taking that. I'm not taking that.
But all I'm gonna say is that you can't identify with something you've never been. I can identify with being broke. I can identify with being ignorant. I can identify with everything except being a man.
But
even
if
though
you're
I was a tomboy.
But if you're mentally ill, you can identify. That's what I'm saying. But we're disagreeing on the mentally ill part. I agree with you with everything else. But I'm trying to say is if there are mentally ill people who believe all these other things, then they can believe they're the opposite sex.
they can believe they're Batman.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is
Batman.
there's a difference between a person being born actually thinking he's Batman, and there's a difference between somebody believing there's something without social influence, and then there's the people who are socially influenced. Like, for example, I always wanted to eat ass. I will always be about eating ass because
Are you talking about ass, or are you
Ass
talking
play.
about
Ass
pussy,
play.
ass?
Like ass.
Ass.
the butthole.
The butthole.
Oh, okay, but let
He
me finish.
different.
Let me finish.
He
I was
different.
born this way.
Do you eat
Oh God.
chitlins?
No, I'm talking about like sex-wise, eating a woman's ass.
Okay.
But to answer your question, if I was to eat a part of a woman's body first, it would be either the thighs or the ass.
That's different.
Okay,
I would definitely eat a thigh.
Yeah.
You
would eat a thigh? Legs are good.
Yes, legs are very good. The point that I'm trying to make, I was born an ass lover. Nowadays, a lot of people are ass lovers because it's socially cool.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is the quickest way to know if somebody is doing something for a trend or they're doing something because they're serious, 95% of the time, because there's some people who are so socially aware that they will do anything to stay socially in the norm, right?
Okay.
Ask somebody who's all about ass, right? Oh, I love a fat, juicy ass. Oh, give me a woman with a fat ass. Okay, you love ass so much. Oh, yeah, I love ass. Okay.
Ask them if they would have sex in the ass, though.
Oh, go to the next level.
Completely
Will
different.
you eat the ass?
Would you eat the ass?
And
Would you
that's what I'm
penetrate
trying
the
to
ass?
say.
Said, will you eat it?
No, it's serious.
And
That's a
mama,
serious
this is
thing.
why I'm trying to make the difference between people who are becoming transgender because of social norms or because they actually believe it.
Try. I get where you're coming from. Got you.
Okay, now, so we agree about that then, right?
Then we agree.
So when I say if you go all the way, you get the surgery, you completely change your lifestyle, even though I disagree with that
Right.
concept, I respect you because
Right.
you believe it.
Because you believe it. Yes, and you're standing up for what you believe. You committed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is why
You
any
went all the way.
person who eats ass and they fuck ass, they finger the ass, they do everything to the ass, I respect you because you actually love the ass.
Like, you're actually
Right.
an ass person.
Or you're so committed to social norms, then, hey, respect because you're willing to go that far. But these people who say they're a woman, but all they do is put makeup on, I don't respect that. All these people saying they're a man when all they do is cut their hair. I don't respect that. Because you're not doing this to fully change. You're doing this because it's cool. You could check the box.
Well, but maybe the people, I don't understand the whole concept, because you have some people I'm just a man and I like other men.
Yeah, but they don't say they're a woman, though.
Right. That's why it's all confusing. It's not, I don't know.
So
it's
would
weird.
you say, okay, for, let's say studs, a lot of studs don't go through the full process of becoming a man.
Right.
So,
But they don't. But the problem with that argument from the get go, studs don't say they're a man. They still say they're a woman.
They say I am me. And that's just, like, I believe like God made you perfect. So every female isn't the same. Like society made me feel like I was less than a woman because I was a tomboy.
But your physical attributes don't necessarily make you a woman.
Correct.
So
Correct.
just because you're dressing like a man, that doesn't mean you're any less of a woman.
Correct.
If you have a kid and you have an essence of a woman, you're still a woman.
Correct.
Yes, that's what makes you a woman.
Women are nurturers that's the way we're wired.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is, if a person is only dressing up like a man and then they say they're a man, how does that make you a man? Like, for me, I don't believe it. Like, I can only believe you're a man if you're willing to go full length of it. And even then, I'm skeptical. But at least I can respect it. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you. I'm always skeptical. But if you're not fully willing to commit, I can't respect it.
I got you. I see where you're coming from. Like,
it's like when a person is saying,
committed.
I'm faithful. Okay, you could say you're faithful all you want. What does that mean? If you're still cheating on me, that's not faithful.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if
but you could be faithful to yourself.
that's the same like these people saying, "Oh, I'm a woman," even though I still have my penis. Okay, and I'm Batman tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't have the money like Batman. I don't have the gadgets, but because I say I'm Batman, I'm Batman. If you're not willing to go full board with this, then I'm not gonna believe you.
True.
That's the whole issue. We can say whatever we want. If you're not willing to prove it, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to get through. You could say you love ass all you want. Do you really love?
You gotta prove it.
Yes, but that's what I'm trying to say. You gotta prove it. Just like the same thing, people who love titties. The only people who I know who actually love titties are the people who are gonna suck the nipples. They're gonna motorboat their face in the titties. Those are the people who love titties.
Correct.
People who truly love pussy are the ones that are going to do everything to the pussy. They're just not going to stick their dick into it.
Right.
You can stick your dick into anything. That doesn't mean you love it.
Right. You could put it in a hole in the wall.
Sadly.
Exactly.
We get a splinter.
So as Francis always likes to say, it's not what you say, but it's the actions that support it.
Right.
It's like all these men who say they're family men. Okay, if you're a family man, why do you have 3 different baby mamas and you're not in the kid's life? You're not a family man.
Right.
You're saying that so you could get more women to knock up.
Right.
So I'm trying to give as many examples. When a person says they're the opposite sex, that doesn't mean anything to me. Now, I will never personally fuck with the concept of it because I believe it's a mental disease.
Right.
And many scientific people who aren't corrupt will say it's a mental disease.
It is.
But I will be able to look that person in the eye and respect them if they go full on board.
Right.
And because
support your decision. Stand for what you believe in.
100%.
100%.
So now does it make more sense where I was coming from?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Woo. It took a while, but we got there.
Well, because this topic is so, which by the way, I do blame society. Since words have no meanings anymore, her meaning of something might be different from my meaning. So we have to just converse.
You have to talk it out.
Yes, we have to
talk it out.
We have to talk for 10 minutes just to understand which words mean what.
That's true.
And that's the problem. And once again, this is my problem when people want to ban any word. First off, that's not free society. Secondly, people saying, oh, Trump is a Nazi. No, you're the Nazi for wanting to ban me because I just want to say I support Trump. That's Nazism, but people don't know their own history. And the third thing, language was created for communication. Right. So if we both agree nigga means be proud of yourself, you're a homie, I don't care what you say nigga means. to us, it means homie. So if you believe gay means a man fucks another man, that's cool on you.
Right.
But don't talk to me using
Right.
gay in the same manner.
Right.
We need to come to a new term.
Right.
See, my problem isn't with language being used in any manner. My problem is language being used in any manner and then you forcing your terms
On
on
everybody
me.
else. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Don't tread
yeah.
on me.
Yeah.
Just
You know.
like the universal term for cold. Oh, it's cold outside. Everybody who knows English knows that. But then,
now it's
a
used
bad
as
bitch.
it's used as a flirtatious word or something.
yes. But if somebody doesn't know that, they're going to be very confused. So one of two things
Especially
need to
growing up. Yeah.
One of two things need to happen. You need to stop using code to mean attraction, or the other person needs to learn that code now has two definitions. But that's compromising communication. That's
Yeah.
what America
It's also
doesn't
knowing
have.
slang.
Yes.
Knowing what. Yeah.
Well, but see, the problem is that people, you can have one word, and a word has several different definitions.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to gain some understanding about where we are all coming from to gain this understanding. But everybody wants to be politically correct, and people get so offended
But another
so quickly that you can't even fully communicate anymore and gain insight and perspective because everybody is just so sensitive.
And the problem with that too is that once a word gets another meaning, all the other meanings don't exist anymore, which is another issue.
Right.
But
Right, because tomboy doesn't exist anymore.
Whoa.
You're trans if you're tomboy.
you can make the case gay and lesbian is starting to go the route of the dodo bird, because the moment you say if you're a sex and you like the same sex, oh, you must be transgender now. Have you noticed that trend?
Yeah, everything is trans.
To me, I've picked up everything is not just les or gay. Now is LGBTQBT. All like it's all of that now.
There's queer now.
yeah, queer is a good word to use now. All of a sudden,
Do you know they made up a word to describe a woman? I think it's
What?
pansexual.
Oh, listen.
You mean
They've
being-
gone too far now.
yeah,
They've just gone too far. It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
yeah, definitely.
Pansexual. Who is making up these words?
Oh, well, last time I checked, no, seriously, last time I checked, it was 69. But now
69.
different types of sexualities and genders and stuff.
Oh.
But now it's over 100.
Listen, that's ridiculous. See that I just can't even wrap my head around it because
Trying to make that word a trending word, like that's stupid.
it's stupid.
Stupid.
Well, it's part of the depopulation agenda because if people are having same sex, then you can control who is reproducing. Because if you notice, I want to say, was it last year or the year before last, they started making these incubators so that you no longer need a uterus to have a baby. You can just go have this baby that grows inside of a machine. So they're like removing the need to have a man and a woman to even have a child, which is it's all like satanic if you ask me. It's all
I don't.
evil. It's just pure evil.
That's why for the longest time I used to be non-religion. Now, that's another reason why I want a religious woman, because at the end of the day, humanity is woman and man.
Period.
And
Yeah.
by the way, I've really changed my perspective on this. I respect any religious person who respects homosexuals, but they won't allow them to get married. Because what is the concept of marriage? A man and a woman. So if you're being true to your religion, which is where marriage came from, marriage is a man and a woman, because marriage was supposed to be created to make a union to be the beginning of a family.
And what is a family?
A man.
The first it's like the basics of a community, of society.
Yes. But you can't have society if you're not reproducing.
Correct.
Which by the way, I will always respect people who aren't the stereotypical heterosexuals. It just from a biological sense, I can never fuck with it, because hypothetically speaking, if everybody ended up being homosexuals, the human race would die out.
True. But see, this is the thing. Be you. Why? I just don't understand why we are so preoccupied with who people like to have sex with.
Oh, yes. 100%.
It's just absolute. Like, I have to come out. I'm coming out of the closet.
Why?
Like, stay in that motherfucker, please. Because it's nobody's business. It's like me coming out and I'm a prostitute. Prostitutes there are certain things that I was taught is just too much information. And I don't know why people have to come out and say, I'm gay. Be you, love who you love, be who you are with. You don't need special protection. You don't need to make an announcement. Just live your life.
For me, it's the title. I have no problem. Like, for example, if we got a dope-ass co-host and he ended up being gay, right? I would say homosexual. He was homosexual. And
right.
When we were talking about fucking pussy, he's talking about fucking buttholes, but not the female kind.
Right.
I'll be cool with that because he's part of the conversation. I want
Right.
him to share his experience. I have no problem with that. But the moment, let's say we had a dope-ass co-host who actually wasn't dope, and he start always every episode saying, oh yeah, I'm very gay. I'm like, why do you have to say you're gay? Why can't you describe something you're doing? That, like, for example, I never say I love ass, but people realize I love ass because of how I talk about ass. I'm not out here saying, oh, I gotta love that ass. No, I'm always talking about, yo, bro, did you see her fat ass? Yo, bro, I swear to God, I was masturbating thinking about eating that ass. So me explaining stuff, you know who I am.
Right.
Like, for example, I don't have to say I'm a dominant man because when I'm in a relationship, I dominate women. So
Right.
my actions explain who I am.
Right.
Why is everybody announcing you're gay?
That's the one. And then they get mad if people don't care. Like they want, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's
just
the attention seeking.
It's weird.
Yeah,
It's
it's
attention.
just the recognition of it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
Because, I'm going to tell you right now, the coolest homosexuals I've ever met.
Is the most ones that don't say it.
They
don't
just
know
be
it.
themselves.
Yeah,
Not only
exactly.
they don't say it, most often you would never know they were homosexual because they act like that's sex.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a true homosexual man, he doesn't make his voice lighter.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Like, it doesn't. It just is so hard to wrap my mind around. It's like you want to be very flamboyant, but when you're
That's
flamboyant and you
attention-seeking.
throwing it and yamming it down people's throats. I don't yam it down my throat like, yeah, me and my husband had sex. Just, like, I don't nobody care.
Or the what are they called? The not town boys, but the
Studs.
studs. The true studs, they dress like a man. They're quote unquote the man in the relationship. All the studs I know, they still talk the way they were born. They don't deepen their voice.
yeah, what's up?
Before, I used to be able to look at a woman who might have had a deeper voice or might have had a more masculine physical asset, and I would just say, oh, they were born that way. They have more masculine features. Now, when I see a masculine-looking woman, now I have to think,
Is that a man?
yes. And before, I might have been able, like, okay, she has a thicker jaw, but I still fuck with her, cool. Now, if a woman has a thicker jaw, now I'm thinking, do I even attempt to make a first move? Because what if she is a man? Because if I start feeling a dick, something bad's happening.
It's a full-on brawl.
But you know what I'm like? This is
Yes. You can't make decisions for me. Give me all the information and I'll make my own decision. But people are out here pretending. Listen, I'm so sick of these pronouns. Like, please stop. Stop. It's ridiculous.
so you don't fuck with Demi Lovato saying don't refer to her as a she or a he, refer to her as a they.
I wouldn't even talk to her because that shit is stupid.
I was about to say I'm gonna refer to her as stupid.
Yeah.
You stupid. As a they. You got multiple personalities. If you want to do that,
Well, if we're going technical by the definition of they is for a group of people.
it's a group of people. You have personal issues.
Call me a they. I'm an apple. I identify. I'm a fruit now. Like stop it. When
Yo, if we're
we've just
fruits,
gone too far.
I'm a grape because grapes taste mwah.
I'm a plum.
they got that crunchy exterior, but in the side they're a soft little.
I like kiwi,
I'm a plum.
Oh, kiwi's
sour on the
good.
sour
And
on
I
the
don't take
outside,
the
but
skin
sweet
off.
on the inside.
and I don't take the skin off.
Oh, you're different.
I just eat kiwi.
With the skin on and the fur?
I love the fur.
Tart.
It tastes good. It's very tart.
What
And it goes good with the sweetness.
if we're being technical, most of the time, most of the nutrition in fruits are in the skin.
In the skin, yeah.
I just can't eat banana skin. That's too far. Unless we're putting it into a smoothie.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat a banana skin.
Oh,
no.
see, you're not committed to skin then. You eat a kiwi skin, but not banana skin. How true are you, mama? See, this entire time you've been talking about hypocrites and staying true to your actions, and look at, you're not even staying true to your skins.
No, I like kiwi skin. I mean, for anything else, I'm just saying.
Well, apple skin.
I don't eat apple skin.
What about orange skin?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
It's just too tart.
It's not
too
even
tart.
tart. It's like
It's citrusy.
yeah. It's one of those.
For me,
that-
it's the
one of those.
texture.
It's the texture and the aftertaste. The aftertaste just doesn't go away.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Aftertaste just does not go away until you eat something else.
True. But that's where a lot of the vitamins are.
It is
So how committed are you to being healthy?
Oh.
not that committed. I'm committed unless we just put the whole thing in a blender.
That's the option.
You put the whole thing in a blender and take the seeds out.
Since we're on this topic, I just want to put a quick plug for information. If anybody talks to you about GMOs and they're eating a banana, say you're a fucking hypocrite because
GMO.
Right.
genetically modified organisms.
Okay.
All bananas are genetically
GMO.
yeah. Because the true banana
Have
is
big ass
green.
seeds.
big ass seeds and they're half the size they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so, bro, at the end of the day, if somebody tries to tell you something, they're probably full of shit. They're just trying to preach.
That's cool.
That's it.
That's cool.
Most people are dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think that should be the name of the episode.
Most people are stupid.
Yeah.
And
Just
just
saying.
like that, guys. Most people are stupid.
Real quick, I just want to end on this quote. The word is demisexual. So it's not pansexual means they're attracted to anything, which
They're just whores.
They're just not. They're attracted to someone that they're emotionally
well, technically,
attached to.
if we're being technical, I'm technically a pansexual because a pansexual, you get turned on by anything. So you know how I say I get turned on by
art and
Yes.
how
technically I'm pansexual, but I'm not pansexual because I would only impregnate a woman. See,
Well, that's all you could impregnate.
at the end of the day, what do you want to be with? I don't want to be with a tree, but because a tree turns me on, I'm pansexual. No, I only want to be with a woman, so I'm heterosexual.
So when you're turned on, you just want to be with a woman. So wouldn't that just make you a heterosexual as opposed to a pansexual?
No, but a pansexual means you can be attracted to anything.
Who is making up this shit? That's all I want to know.
But what I'm trying to
And
say
what
is,
drugs do they do?
But what I'm trying to say
Crack.
is, I can,
Crack is whack.
crack is whack. I can acknowledge that I get turned on by many things, but I'm not out here saying I'm a pansexual. You see the difference?
Right.
But to the definition for demisexual people only feel sexually attracted to someone when they have an emotional bond with that person. Or another way to say it,
psychopath.
no, they're human. If I say this definition to you, hey bro, what is somebody who is only sexually attracted to someone when they have an emotional bond with that person?
Oh,
An adult.
yeah.
Specifically a woman.
An adult.
You just described a woman.
An adult.
You just described a stereotypical woman. You're not demisexual. You're a fucking woman.
Yeah, because women
tend to
give sex to show love. Men show love to get sex.
Exactly. So that's why I say specific humans, period, but
Yeah.
specifically women.
Woman, yeah.
Yeah, we like to be connected. Men just like to be connected.
like the way she said
That was fire.
Yeah.
So basically, women are out here saying they're a woman, but they don't want to claim that they're a woman. They want to claim they're.
Because that's why that shit is stupid.
No, I feel like they just want to be individually.
No, they just want to create these terms and be like, oh, I'm this, and oh, I'm that. Oh, you're stupid. They just need to shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is. I love it. Okay, so the quote I want to end on is, A year ago, I thought we would all eventually either get vaccinated or get COVID. But in the state we're in now, it now seems we all get vaccinated and then get COVID.
This is true. This is true.
Let that sink in, bro.
Facts.
That is definitely a fact.
Can I get an amen? Amen.
Facts.
Facts.
That's sad.
Yo, that statement's true, though, right?
It is.
I
It's
mean,
facts.
but it's definitely facts, and it's definitely what they figured out in the animal trials. That's why we've never had these types of vaccines.
Well, and also another thing, too. Every vaccine that's FDA approved has to go through at least 5 years of medical treatment in terms of experiments on whatever. This vaccine was from start to finish created in 9 months. So
Yeah.
it barely had months.
It barely had a year.
No, but that was from start to finish of creation to be FDA approved. I'm not even talking about creating the vaccine. You have to go through 5 years of
Right.
experiment/test plus the creation time. This vaccine from start to finish, 9 months, including the trials.
Well, that's because it has technology. But see, that was the beauty of creating the mRNA vaccines to begin with, because it's nothing but programming code. They took the genetic code, allegedly, that China put up, and they made their vaccines off of that. So that's why they want those mRNA vaccines, because it's programs. All you got to do is write a program. Now you got a booster. That's it.
Yeah.
It's an operating system. They say it on their website.
It's a fact.
Just saying.
I haven't done my research. But it's a fact. No,
See, man, this is why I wish I lived in a simpler time. As great as technology is, I don't need it.
We don't need it. And the thing is, people don't even realize Moderna is a biotech company.
Keyword tech.
Keyword tech. People don't understand that there's technology in it. And people don't understand that, yeah. I mean, it happened in the animals. That's why. Who is catching COVID? Who is in the hospital right now? The people who were injected. That's the majority of the people that are in the hospital. These are the people that are dropping dead, are the people who are injected. But see, they don't want to tell you that part. They just tell you, roll your sleeve up. They're not telling you about the injuries. They're not telling you about the deaths, because they don't care nothing about that. One COVID death is too much, but over 10,000 people dying in America is not enough.
Preach.
That's true.
No, in fact, for 4th of July, over 18 people in Chicago were killed. Over 100 people were injured due to shootings. Did you hear anything about that? But you heard about Joe Biden's 4th of July in 2021 being 18 cents cheaper than 2020. 18 cents. Even though gas has increased nearly 50%, we care about the 18 cents for a whole meal.
Build back better.
And
Just saying.
And just like that, guys, we gonna get a body here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. But before we end this video, we're gonna do this 5 rhino thrust real quick. Number 1, make sure you like the video. Number 2, make sure you subscribe. Number 3, make sure you hit that bell.
ring a ding ding.
Number 4, make sure you share on every social media,
Including locals.
You guys want to provide any type of support towards us, any
Cash flow.
I was
Yes.
going to say economic help.
Economic help. That's even better than
Yeah,
Anything-
you need independent people.
Yeah. Anything that to help. We take anything just to continue what we're doing to help you guys, give you more entertainment and news and exciting
not
stuff.
only do you help fund what we're doing, you get locals exclusives.
Exactly. Who don't want the exclusives? Like, you want the inside scoop. Come on.
Or just our really sick thoughts or what.
Or that. And number 5, make sure you comment on a video. Just tell me how your day is. That's all that matters.
Or comment about any and everything
That we spoke
Taniqua
about.
Simmons stated.
exactly.
Just to be clear, I necessarily didn't agree with everything, but I respect the energy and where she's coming from. And the best part about it, too, she is willing to discuss and at least listen. By the way, just because you're hearing something doesn't mean you're listening.
Exactly.
Right.
She's actually listening.
She's listening to understand what we're talking about.
Different perspectives.
Exactly.
Right.
An
That's what life
unbiased
is all
opinion.
about.
Exactly. And a lot of people need to know what's the difference, and y'all need to accept it. Just let it be.
Well, you don't even have to accept it. Respect it.
Exactly. That was a better word. Respect it.
Yes. Now, if it's a fact, then you need to accept it because you can't change a fact. If you're
Right.
born with 2 X's, you're a woman.
Facts.
Hashtag facts.
Hashtag facts.
Hashtag amen.
And just like that, guys. LLPH.
Thank you for coming. Cadoodle.
Peace.
Good night.
Just a friendly reminder, guys. Hit the subscribe button in this corner. And then for the newest video. Then for the most recommended. And then for our famous dick pic.